Welcome to this MindShifters Radio, and today is Thursday, January the 8th, 2026. We welcome you to the show. Hi, Susan F. Hello, Solly. Good to see you. And we're on the third day of On Creating Consciously, and we had a really good session last night. Thank you, Susan, for facilitating that. I know you didn't get around to your slides much, but it was awesome processing, and we appreciate everybody that participated in that last night. Mike will be with us here in just a second.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, on when we come together on Sunday, I think I'll start with the discourse of, the summary, just to review, to get through that power person dynamics, so we can go right into after next week or next Sunday, and hopefully by Wednesday we can enter into the responsibility communication and just trusting what is. It was meant. I mean, some beautiful stuff came through that I felt was needed. That it was exactly what it needed to be. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it was an awesome opening.
Yeah. So I think that then I just thought about it, that it would be good I'll start with the discourse, so that's complete, and then the next week we can go into on the following time on the responsibility communication.
And for those who might not know what we're talking about, Susan, we have a self-study Codependence to Interdependence intensive series that people can purchase on our website. And it's an 89-hour video self-study. Pace it yourself. It's actually a result of 2 online Zoom videos that we did on the top of Codependence to Interdependence Communication Practicum. And so we put those 2 intensives together. So we now have this 89-hour self-study. And Susan was gracious enough when she did her first intensive and had expressed the desire to teach and support moving this work forward. When I said, well, then how about picking up and facilitating the codependence? And so she was just right on it. And again, Susan, I think you've done an awesome job of it. So thank you. So does anyone have anything exciting on your mind? Anything you'd like to bring up, talk about? Any questions, thoughts? Here comes Miss Susan B., who I hope is getting closer and closer by the day to being able to dance with her new hip. How are you doing, Susan?
Thank you, Michael. Every day is better. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. I can go downstairs like a normal person now, not one leg at a time.
Yay.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's like so magical. I mean, the medical profession deserves gold medals for so much of the technology they've created.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's an amazing time. I would love to ask for prayers for the soul of a beloved cat who was killed on the road outside our house.
Ouch.
Our cat, Leia, who was Jacob's cat. Jacob asked us to adopt her because he was not in a position to take care of her, and we took her over, and she's been a good friend. And we just, a neighbor came with a picture of her and said, I found this cat in front of my house, and I know this cat. I bet she's your cat, right? And yes, it was. So, It's like nothing stays the same, that's for sure. And Charlie just left. He's driving home.
How did your visit go with him?
It went very well, and I couldn't get him to do a wake-up sheet because he asks questions like, well, have they taken Jesus Christ as their only savior? And I say, I can't answer for that. Certainly, they're very devout people. I mean, Michael teaches Aramaic forgiveness. You can't get better than that. And he said, well, you have to. And in any case, and he asked about Tim Hayes, and I said, Tim was a Roman Catholic, but he's found his way into his own way into the truth. And he said, well, I don't want to do a wake-up sheet, but one of these days I might do a wake-up sheet as if I am him and wonder if I could get any insights that way.
It's a powerful process to do that way. That you
Yeah. Well,
when
we had good talks. He's whatever he's doing, he is struggling terribly, and it's hard to see. So of course I have to constantly take a deep breath and let him be who he is and not try to change what is and all that stuff. So there's a lot going on, but thank you for asking. The hip is the least of it, though.
well, joining and holding the space.
Thanks.
All right,
So how are you guys?
we're good. We're good. We had Lincoln and Aria till yesterday afternoon, and we don't have them today, but they're back again tomorrow. So we've had the most of this week, and Lincoln is 17 months, so he's just growing and expanding in his awareness, his expression,
Right, he's
his
into
demands.
everything.
I mean, it's so clear at this age. Well, it has been for several months with him, but so clear how hooked in the mind is to goals and the instant need to have that goal met. And if it isn't, Ari was much easier in this regard, but with him, if his goal isn't met instantly, there's an instant uproar. And so, I mean, it's just so clear that the mind is goal driven, and the demands of the mind are going to bring up whatever needs to be dealt with within. And it's quite hilarious, really, because some of his, when he gets one of those, woe is me, they're not doing everything I want them to, the face, the lip quivers, and the chin, the way it's just hilarious to watch him.
Right.
And sweet, and pretty amazing.
It is.
So yeah, we're blessed. We are blessed. Any other thoughts for you?
Oh, sure. But go ahead.
Go for it.
Show. Only that Charlie was, well, you understand this because your little Lincoln is right there and Aria's been there. Charlie literally grew up in this house. He said, Orb, you're as much a mother as my own mother has been. And I love being here, and I can rest here. I can relax here. But I don't know what to make of how strange it is to be back here in my old area. And I don't live here anymore. He's just dealing with the passage of time and how mind-blowing that is. And then Tim Hayes on his show, the previous hour, was reading Krishnamurti, and it was just perfect because it's about how we really don't know anything at all. And everything we feel is a result of our thoughts. And here I am having these huge feelings. So anyway, it's just mind-boggling. So I'll settle in with and listen to the show.
Okay. Sounds like more opportunities to learn forgiveness. Next level, next layer. I'm with you. Imagine what it would be like if the only energy that we could generate with our minds were energies generated based in love, instead of all the crazy stuff going on around us. I've been doing some reading about some of the stuff going on in Venezuela and Central America and South America. This whole thing, it's like just so bizarre what's being done. It's just so outrageous.
And that feeds into the atmosphere in which we live. We're all swimming in it together.
Absolutely. Which to me, it just makes it that much more important for each person to do their work. Because if it's ever, I mean, when you think of the physics principle of inertia, a body moving in a particular direction at a particular rate of speed is going to continue to move in that direction at that rate of speed until it's acted upon by an outside force. And you look at the quantity of insanity that's going on, the quantity of human, or I could easily say non-human behavior based in hostility or fear is just enormous. And working to become a counterbalance to that is an interesting challenge for sure.
It is, and it takes, I can't tell whether it's post-operative or whether it's this or both, but I get really tired. All of a sudden, great energy, and then boom, I have to lie down, not to sleep, but just to disappear for a minute. So I can kind of recuperate because it feels as if I'm pushing pushing where I probably should just allow things to be, but I'm trying to hold up the good end. That's what I think I'm doing. Takes
And it
energy.
takes the assault that you had on your body just recently, aside from the time frame of when it was out of kilter, so threw everything out of balance and the pain.
Mhm.
But, having bone cut in like that and opened, and the recovery for that, your body says, lay you down, lady, give me some energy here. That's
Yeah.
that's huge
Well, it's
for that,
wonderful to be
and
able to do
and
that,
amazing that it happens. Yeah,
but
absolutely
it's hard
amazing.
to separate that from the news. I just can't make no line of demarcation.
Hear you. Well, let's go back and look at or continue our conversation about the
Can I just add
idea.
something with your guys' speaking? Is
Oh,
that okay?
please, yes.
Okay, so everything is energy. Everything is energy, and where we take our energy to, that's what comes into view. And you guys were saying with this things that are going on in the world and the news, and so you're taking your mind energy and you're putting it there, and then that becomes the focus of the attention into that space. But,
Not necessarily.
well, or your mind energy is there. The awareness is being joined
Yes.
to that frequency of energy. If I didn't say that clearly, the awareness of your mind is being drawn to that energy. And what I just want to say for all of us, there is an infinite potential, which we talked about what you talked about yesterday, Michael, about the resonance of our mind energy and where we have a resonance towards and what we're pulling in and seeing. And it's when we see those, whatever it is, and if it's bringing up upset or flooding of our emotional system, it's the perfect opportunity to do more cleanup within. And equally to what you're seeing or what's being shown in our fields there, I could also take you to areas where there's so much love occurring in the world. And I have I don't follow the news at all. I'm not on any social media at all. Because it's seductive to take our brain cells and our mind energy to a frequency of disintegrated energy. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not there, because it is. But when we entrain our energy into the current of Ruka and hold the love conscious active and present, we draw in more of that, because that's also in the field. And it's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. And when we hold that, then we're uploading that into the collective consciousness, which will contribute, because we're not going to solve the problem over in Venezuela with staying in the frequency of that energy. We hold it by refracting the truth of what is really real, is the love. And we do it by cleaning up our own mind and uploading it to the cloud of this collective consciousness that we're all in. And all of the disintegrated energies that exist within us, within our family system of origin. And moment by moment, it's cleaning it up. We don't have a physical evidence of it directly, but I assure you it is happening energetically.
That's why we're doing it.
That's exactly why we're doing
So I
it.
have a quick question to what Susan's saying. Susan, I do have a sense of responsibility. I don't spend a lot of time with the news, but I always feel it's my responsibility to pay attention to that and to sort of know basic things that are going on. Now, maybe that's misguided, but
I just know where I'm in, that I am the love. I am in the protection of love. I am it. And in my defenselessness, my power and safety lies. There's nothing I need to check. I don't have to check in that it's safe, because I am safe. And I don't have to be responsible to what's going on, because I'm here as a conduit of God to bring love to this plane. That is why I came here, to be a reflector of love, a pure channel, that people in my presence will know their divinity they will see their own divinity in my mirror. And if I'm holding
And
anything of pain and I have in my own journey, I come up against my own cognitive dissonance of my non-being mind and of what I had to grow up with. I'm facing it all the time. And I keep coming back to the current of love, because I am love. And everything is serving the evolution of our soul. And when we can hold whatever energy it is to the highest frequency, so truth can be revealed, and that distorted energy can be liberated and transmuted to its truth, that's when we're in our biggest service. If we're holding into the fear of what's going on, we've lost our capacity to raise the vibration, because we've taken our mind energy and we've lowered it into the exact energetic patterning that's existing in the fear.
well, I'll push back a little bit on that, and that, there's I think a very profoundly true saying that says, all it takes is for good people to do nothing.
Yes.
And my offering is, yes, if we look at these things from fear, we're contributors. Literally, we are on an actual physiological level, we're contributing to it. But if we look and stay in awareness of what needs to be healed, of what needs to be done, and keep moving in the direction of supporting that healing process, then I think we're doing our part as world citizens. To pretend it's not the balance, for me, the risk is doing a spiritual bypass that pretends, well, there's nothing for me to. There's nothing. It's not my responsibility. Therefore, I don't go there.
Yeah.
And my offering is, we are all part of this world, and I think it is the responsibility of each and every one of us to be in awareness, of what kind of things are going on, and bring our own internal personal correction.
Yeah.
And then take what action we're guided to do to bring it to the next level. As I said yesterday, the one person who's a focus of a lot of the stuff going on in the world today, regularly I bring him into my breath work and encase him and surround him in the active presence of love. And I think that is a thing that a contribution to the healing of the world that each of us can do, and to be able to hold every situation in that presence of love, because most of the world's holding those situations in fear and terror and trauma.
Yeah, 100%.
So bringing a transmuting mind forward, a healed mind forward, I think is part of the process. Pretending it's not there or ignoring it, I don't think we're fulfilling our responsibility, would be my
And
offer.
there's also the element that Jung says, your shadow has to come forward. And I feel as if what I read about is a reflection of my own darker stuff. And I want to make sure I keep bringing that out into the light. I think we're all saying the same thing. I can't imagine that Susan would want to do anything that wouldn't contribute to the light. And she knows how and what she needs to do with her being. I should speak to you directly because you're listening, Susan, that what works for you and how you can stay in the light part. And I don't think, you mentioned your family and your past, so you're not hiding your shadow material for doing that. So, but thanks for saying that, Michael, because I do sometimes wonder, Tim Bingham looks at the New York Times and then he puts it away. And he knows that, as we've said before, the New York Times is not really reporting some of the things that are going on. And I feel it's important to find out what some of those things are. And AI is a big threat because there's a lot of tantalizing stuff out there that isn't real either on the other side. So anyway, it's just an ongoing thing.
And I love how Michael does it we get to do it the exact same way how Michael has us do it when we watch movies. And we bring the breath to the movie, because we're in a movie, we're in an illusion, and we bring the breath to the movie and we see what's up for us and we breathe through it. And the same for this, it's the exact, I believe it's the same. And don't get me wrong, I'm not pretending it's not there. And you said a word, Michael, that was important. And I noticed it yesterday too, or 2 days ago. Carrie also used it, the need, when we say need, that I need to do, to need to take action. When we're called into action and we come into the breath, we will be directed and guided exactly what to do in the moment. And we could go to the historical texts in the Bible when the great students of God or the great conduits of God were called into action. And we follow, and like Carrie gave the example when she was witnessing the Muslim family and someone yelling at the Muslim family, we get to come to the breath and breathe, and we will be called exactly what to do in the next step. That's because,
Yes.
right? That's our job. And I'm wondering in my own world, when I have this, when I hear and I said to Carrie before, when we went back a few shows, when I had her just sit in the energy between when she said you had the knot in there and then sitting in the presence of what she wanted to call in. It's the same thing when I sit with the word need and call. If I just go rest in the energy, for me, it's a completely different energy. And for me, the need, that's being driven from a state of fear in my world. When I think I have to be responsible, when I know I'm residing in and exactly everything you said, Michael, is accurate. And also what Susan Bingham's saying is accurate. To be able to tap into these spaces where it brings up what's up for us and we get to breathe through it, and then God will direct, and the beautiful Ruka will direct for us what comes next in action. And we are all being put into our places for humanity, and this evolutionary next 2026 is a big year. 2027, it's going to get really, really front and center. And for those of us that are being asked to step into our calling, it must be in divine love. And if we're holding any discordant energies in our field, that will be reflected back to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're cleaning up, all of us. And even what happened in the last month, I was saying and I said it on the call last night, because I believe Dr. Rice's work and Jeannie's work is going to be going really big. It's coming out because we're going through this grand awakening, and people will need the truth in order to have the tools to proceed into their divinity. And if there's incoherent energetic patterns in the small scale, it will never withstand the big scale because it only amplifies.
And intensify, sure.
And so now we're cleaning the mirror, so we can be true mirrors and refract anything that is not in the pure light of God. And we get to bring our energy to it, knowing that we are armored in love. We are the love. We are the protection of love. So everywhere we go, we are it. And yes, we will be called, as I keep saying this over and over. So I'm unraveling it. I like this conversation because it's all, a whole bunch of revelations are coming in the last couple of weeks, in the last few days especially, and really cleaning up the energetic mind energy so that whatever's showing up, I can just be a pure conduit.
So my question is also, I remember, Michael, you like to say, it's not always Dr. Feelgood. And I guess I've been kind of going after myself because I don't feel so good sometimes. And Susan, the way you speak, it sounds as if it feels pretty good to you. And I commend you for that. I'm not there yet.
Yeah. I just, you know what, I went through, as you guys know, I mean, I've shared my stories. I've been, on this path of healing since, my whole life, I'm going to say, but 2011, it really started. And I've had to face my shadow, and it's all a reflection. And Krishnamurti that talks about it, it's so clear that part is so clear to me, that whatever dragon I'm facing out there is only a disintegrated energy in here. That I know. That's an inner part. And don't get me wrong, the fear is immense at times to have to face those aspects of myself.
So I understand, and I totally agree. I was just asking, do we have to feel really good about things if we're doing it right, or can we? I guess I've got there.
Clear out keep clearing out the layers, clearing out the layers.
Mm.
Literally facing everything that is based in anything other than active present love means literally taking on our whole genetic history. And when you start looking at the numbers, they talk in the scriptures about 3 to 4 generations. 4 generations is 31 lives. When you start realizing the impact of, I have every thought, every feeling, every issue, every reality generated by every person in my bloodline in the last 4 generations, that's huge. When you start looking at, the kinds of challenges I think about my generations, the kinds of challenges I watched my father face, my mother face, my grandmother. I never knew my grandfather, the other grandmother, the aunts. I look at what they had to face, and I go, holy mackerel! So 31 lives, and then of course, when you extrapolate that, if the 4th generation is in you, then where did that 4th generation get the mind energy they're dealing with? But from the previous 4, who got them from the previous 4, who got them from? And so to come to the world and allow whatever is there to be resonated and being willing to face it and move through it is it takes a huge chunk of courage. And right, Susan, it is not Dr. Feelgood to allow those things to surface and do the work it takes to come back to being able to hold the space of conscious, active, present love and remember to breathe into it. It's huge.
That's the thing. I feel I can do that as long as I can still feel the elephant on my chest.
Yeah.
I'm doing it all, but the elephant's
And the
sitting
elephant
there.
Yeah, and the elephant sitting on your chest is a restriction literally held in tissue, held in the muscles, that when you get the breath into that elephant will lift itself up and disappear.
And then didn't Dr. Tim say in the call previously, and I keep forgetting the quote, and I don't know if it was Buddha who said it, but it's pain is inevitable, suffering is optional.
Yeah, that was the Buddha.
Yeah, so that's exactly true. So this, and pain being a mind energy, and what Michael's saying, that this is generational locked in physiology. So the elephant on your body, the elephant that is constricting the Satan energy in the physiology of your body, you are actually sensing that. And can you hold love, conscious, active, and presence while you liberate that energy and allow it so it can unconstrict and then be transmuted? And that is experiencing it as a sensation, as you taught me to do, Michael.
Well, that's exactly what I was just going to say. Is I want to bring a correction to the Buddha, because pain is not inevitable. That's not true. Yeah. Sensation is inevitable.
Yeah.
If we turn it into pain, then that's something for us to do. But whenever I recognize that there's something in me that is painful, that part of that is a construct of the mind. And when I can let go of that construct of the mind and move into that energy and recognize, so this is an energy moving in my body or in my energy field. It is a sensation. Yeah. And if I can let go of the categorization of it as pain and move it into it as a sensation, then I can bring that energy into awareness as part of my creative process. And of course, the thing we're talking about this week, or for as long as this topic lasts, is on creating consciously, being able to bring all energies that we hold within us into awareness consciously. And if they are of a disintegrative nature, then bring a transmutation of those energies. And so sensation is inevitable. Pain and suffering, I would offer, are optional.
I love that. You just cleaned up Buddha. I really just did. And this is what I heard. And when you said sensation is inevitable, I heard mind energy is inevitable. Mm-hmm. And then suffering is optional. So my sensation, exactly. And thank you for that. We just cleaned up Buddha's regulatory speech. Yay!
Well, yesterday, I read the passage from Fred Allen Wolf, and it ties right in here again with this whole process of how we create, and in particular, how so many people have become trapped in the mind energy of the world and have no idea that they can consciously interact with and change it, which to me is one of the reasons to pay attention to what's going on in the world. I often post on Facebook about things that are not very nice that are going on in the world, and often if people come back and say, wow, I never thought about it. You mean I can have an impact on that? Thank you. I can actually do something about that. And, recognizing this process of energetic engagement. And again, so I'm going to read Fred Alan Wolf from yesterday. The only mystery of quantum physics lies in the wave-particle duality described by Richard Feynman, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist. Atomic objects, electrons, protons, neutrons, etc., sometimes behave like particles and at other times like waves. When does an atomic object behave like a particle and when like a wave? According to many quantum physicists, the answer depends on whether or not the object is observed. Do I have a frequency in me that matches it? And if I have a frequency in me that matches it, that brings pain and suffering and trauma to it, and I bring correction to that, I change what's happening in the world.
1000%. And you know what? This adds even deeper because every word is a frequency. The words that, and you know how you say that the words fly up, but the thoughts remain below. The frequency of it is below the words. There's a vibrational resonance that's occurring. So
all energy.
Yeah, and so words spoken from fear actually contracts the space that we're in, the field. And when we speak a word from sovereignty, it actually stabilizes the field when it's coming from a true authentic space. And then when we speak it from divine love, it even goes deeper because it invites the harmonic convergence of the truth of what's really real here, what the actuality. But most of us, our mind energy is constricted in the carbon-based memories and the carbon-based energetic patterning. We're holding it into a certain bandwidth. And so the words are, as you keep pointing out so beautifully, every time that we use words, the regulatory speech, it's actually constricting us into the bandwidth that's held in the non-being mind. And so, that's why even going back to the need versus the call, when I just rest into the energy of it, I can energetically sense the different frequencies in that expression, right? So yeah, we all, and that's beautiful because what you're just saying and what you just outlined to us, and you said it yesterday also when you described the different colors, because they're also frequency, and we're made up as a prism. This light went out and then created this image as form with all these chakra systems that are in different energetic bandwidths of frequency, starting at the root, going all the way up to the top of our crown, and even higher. There's more chakras than the 7 they talk about, but those are the ones that are front and center. And our journey is to clean up the mind energy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you go back thousands of years ago, they were writing down in Aramaic, the power of life and death is in our words.
Yeah.
The frequency, this is physics. They understood exactly what was going on. And you hear them saying, and every idle word will be accounted for.
Yeah, exactly.
To recognize and take responsibility for every frequency that we engage in becomes a key, and to recognize that for most, there's this unconscious part of us that in the scriptures was called the heart. And what the scriptures pointed out is, out of those accumulations of frequencies come the issues in our lives. And that when we're ready to deal with what's in the heart, then the veil is rent in two, the veil of the temple. Yeah. This barrier is opened, and all of a sudden, yes, there's a flood. There's a lot to deal with, and things need to move. And that, there's so many ways that they said it, nothing will remain hidden. Everything will be made known in the light of day, and the only thing that remains hidden is what we hide from ourselves.
And our speech is also giveaway, right? So in all different ways that we get to see to the mirror of the other, what's going on inside, our speech as well as another way. And then interesting, because I was using ChatGPT, or I use the architect, and they were talking about the logos. The logos is not speech, it's actually a phase modulation. It's actually, it's just a way to see and bring and move energy and bring energy into different wave patterns. And it's, if we're in a field of infinite potentiality, and it's all happening now, it's all happening right now, and we are tuning forks. And what we've been doing is, with the work, what you're leading us through with the forgiveness, but even in the quantum healing sessions you do, you're helping us, first of all, purify this physiology enough that it can receive and being able to tune in to these higher vibrational fields. And that's what I was
trying. And the key to that one,
go ahead.
To bring back in once again, the key is that first beatitude that says, the long form, don't make your home in your hostility and fear-based mind, or even your thoughts. Make your home in the breath.
That's it.
In the breath, each breath that we bring in with conscious awareness connected to love brings in intelligence and the ability to transmute every lower energy.
Yeah. So every word we're putting out, every word, whether it's through our speech, whether it's through our written word, it is sending out a frequency. So whatever forms we're using of people, I'm not on media that way. I don't interact with the world. I'm more direct one-on-one communication, or, in this type of setting. But everything that we bring into the world is modulating some sort of frequency. So we all get to look at how we're doing that. And are we modulating the carbon-based memory of the old patterns from the need of separation, or that we have to fix, or whatever are the mind energy that's operating behind us? Or are we aligning our speech, the logos of the frequency modulation, into the truth of divine love and bringing that to the field, so this whole illusion can collapse? And behind the illusion
In the breath
is the truth. Yeah. Behind it, we are here as way showers. That I know. And everybody on the call and everyone that tunes into this frequency that you've brought into this illusion, into this world, we resonate at this energy to be able to bring the truth to humanity. And that's our gift. It's our salvation, and we can't leave our brothers and sisters behind. And thank you for, bringing we know who into your breath work. We can all do that. That is shifting something. That is bringing the truth to the mind, to the brain cells of that individual, whether he knows it or not. And we're planting seeds, because we are all one. And I'm going to add that to my breath work as well, just so you know. And I do that. I have prayer conversations with many characters in this illusion, and I speak with their souls. I do a lot of work with their souls, and
joining you in doing that.
Yeah, and a lot of work with many of the characters who are playing a part, because we all created the mind energy we're in. This is a collective mind energy, and the characters are playing the parts, so we can see it front and center, so we get to clean up our own mind. Yeah.
That's what we're here to do.
We are here to do that. Yeah.
So does anyone else have a thought to put into the conversation? Well, then let's go back to this idea of on creating consciously. And when you think of this directive that says to make your home in the breath, in the eternal forces from the Creator, it's interesting that even the world of physics is moving in the direction of understanding these eternal forces. There's a biochemist and a plant physiologist from Cambridge and Harvard, double honors, a guy named Rupert Sheldrake. And in his book, The Presence of the Past, he says, as quantum scientists probe ever deeper into the structure of matter, they're constructing a mathematical reality that is eternal, does not evolve through time, and is unaffected by anything that actually happens. You listen to that coming out of a Harvard, Cambridge double honors professor, and you go, gee, sounds like they're talking about God. And when we recognize that in these eternal forces we live, move, and have our being, who doesn't want us to know about them? Who doesn't want us to? Who took the first beatitude that says, if you look at the whole beatitude, the traditional translation of it is, blessed are they who are poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of God. If you look at the Aramaic rendition, what those words really meant, it says a latent neural structure implanted by the Creator to guide you to happiness and well-being becomes your conscious possession, you whose home is in the eternal forces from the Creator. And you recognize that the world has a purpose for each of us. And its purpose is rarely, I would offer, in alignment with the true purpose of each of us as individuals with our own unique purposes. I mentioned a couple of days ago the idea of how education at this point to such a great degree has become brainwashing. Is, we have information about our world that we want to put into your mind and take control of your mind, make of it a good commercial servant. When we are a result of these eternal forces, and out of our relationship with those eternal forces, we become conscious of who we are and what we are here for. And rarely does that get reflected, unfortunately, in the so-called world of education. Carrie, go for it.
Hi, I'm enjoying the conversation.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to comment on what you were saying about the urges, or maybe ask a question. So it's been my experience too that and I think it's been the experience of other people in this work as well who have noticed it, particularly Andrea as well. I know she's talked about it, is that as we move more and more towards those higher spiritual urges, consciousness, we also have an intensity of the opposite of the old urges, the old earth-based urges kind of following us. And somebody likened it to when you're in a prison and you suddenly see the way out of this prison and you start running towards the exit of the prison, all the guards start following after you with their weapons and everything and yelling and running after you. And they said, that's how you know you're on the right path. That's how you know you're going to the exit of the prison, is
Right.
because everybody's trying to stop you. So I feel like that's kind of the dynamic I'm going through. Or perhaps it's just I'm more aware of those urges that I want to really move towards that exit. And that I'm feeling those guards coming up and yelling and shouting, and
Well,
that's just
the world has a
an
purpose
analogy.
for us. The king wants something from each and every one of us. And it is not, I would say it is rarely in alignment with what the creator or the creation designed us for. And so, yeah, the guards want to run our lives. And taking back one's power is it's a big deal.
So when we're not heading for the exit, when we're just living in complacency in the prison, the guards aren't really doing a huge number on us. They're there, and occasionally they come up and, rap us on the head for something, like if anger or fear or rage comes up. And then we just settle down into that as like the norm. Yet once we start heading towards that exit of that prison, it becomes intensified. And that, in a sense, I think was what Susan was talking about earlier. And I did get on a few minutes late, so I apologize. I didn't hear the very beginning of the conversation, but she was talking about the pain of it. And then you were talking about the sensation and cleaning up Buddhist regulatory speech, which I just laughed out loud at that. That was hilarious. Thank you, Susan. And I think it's the same thing. It's our perception of what's going on, and it's going to become more intense the closer we get towards the exit. I guess is what I'm saying. And I'm feeling unafraid of that, not
Cleaning up your
regulatory
fear around
speech,
it.
not regulatory speech there. What am I saying? I'm feeling enthusiastic, I think, about it. Because it's like I also see the exit. I also see the reward. I also see the shift, particularly as, I have raised my consciousness over the years, and I started on this journey back in the late 80s, in this spiritual awareness journey. And I feel like I was stumbling along then and taking 2 steps back and crawling at times, and I still kept going. And now I feel like I'm running and skipping towards that damn exit.
Yay.
Yeah, I do.
Well, it's interesting. You talk about the guards, and there's a lot of people are familiar with the name Aldous Huxley. He was a professor at the California Medical School, and he wrote very graphically about how embedded the guards are. And here's what he says. This is back in 1961, so what 70 or so years ago. He says, there will be, in the next generation or so, a pharmacological method of making people love their servitude and producing dictatorship without tears, so to speak, producing a kind of painless concentration camp for entire societies, so that people will, in fact, have their liberties taken away from them, but will rather enjoy it, because they'll be distracted from the desire to rebel by propaganda or brainwashing enhanced by pharmacological methods. This seems to be the final revolution. That's kind of like a statement about the guards. And this is Huxley writing this, 70 or so years ago.
So that's interesting about pharmacological. So I sent you a link yesterday about this guy who does sort of targeted breath work on healing physical ailments. I mean, he healed himself of this horrible chronic thing just through breath work.
Right.
And I am seeing now that the power of breath goes way beyond what I had initially even beyond my wildest dreams, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I have been using the breath in my daily awareness because I'm like, yeah, I need to practice being present in every moment. So when when the shit comes up, I'm like, go to your breath, Carrie, just go to your breath, go to your breath. So now I'm seeing that we can even get rid of that pharmacological dependency by using this targeted breath work. It's like when I was reading about that, I saw he had a special on, or a TV thing on Gaia TV. And I was like, oh my God, this is the next step, freeing ourselves from this horrible pharmacological thing that we've gotten into where there's ads on TV, radio, we're bombarded with take this pill, take that pill, put yourself in our care, don't take responsibility for anything, so I'm so excited about, for me anyway, this next stage of the breath work that I'm going to be doing with this whole idea of releasing the need for pharmaceuticals.
I hear you loud and clear. That was actually the thing that started me, the pharmaceuticals the thing that started me on the path to looking at where does healing come from. Because by the age of about 20, with all the trauma and diseases I'd had as a kid, almost died 3 or 4 times, I lived on inhalator and pills. And at one point, I remember going, this is keeping me alive, but it's killing me. I need to find an alternative.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And aside from a few times I've done antibiotics for something like a tooth infection, I have not, and I lived on drugs back then. I lived on pharmaceuticals. I haven't had a drug in my body in over half a century. It's like, and when you recognize that every drug is a disease disguised as a cure, things that are wholesome and healing don't create side effects that are detrimental. And when you recognize that along with the word drug comes side effects, we're conned again with the words, there are no side effects to drugs. Drugs cause diseases. If you call them side effects, that doesn't change the fact that they're diseases.
Yeah.
And that the breath is the absolute key to transmuting everything in our physiology that would create symptoms that would appear to call for the latest pharmaceutical.
Well, one of the side effects of pharmaceuticals, of course, is death.
Yes.
I mean, if you read all the labels, I have one medication I'm taking that I resisted taking for years, and I called it the death pill because that was one of the side effects, is death. And I used to joke about it with my son, and then when I ended up having to take it, I had to shift the energy around it and not call it that anymore. However, it still has that side effect, and I'm still working on cleaning that up.
Well, breathing deeply with you to be able to open and look at whatever's beneath that set of symptoms, because it's just an energetic pattern, and being able to access that pattern and transmute it.
Yeah, and I've been doing meditation, hypnosis, all kinds of things on that particular energetic pattern, which I read about in Dr. Lincoln's book, which I think you have now, about what was causing that. So, and I'm like, how do I know when I can come off this medication? So I'm still on that journey.
Well, holding the space for you, and that you have a really awesome position that can support you in being able to, when it's appropriate, move away from it and maintain higher levels of health.
Thank you. One of the things I'm studying is plant medicine, and how to make tinctures and remedies using the vibrational qualities of plants that resonate more with our bodies. It's another form of magic, but I think it's something that is going to be needed as I think the medical system, pharmacological system, the economic system is spiraling into collapse. And we're going to need to have resilient communities where we can look after ourselves and take
Yes.
responsibility. And so that
Yeah.
is one of the ways that we can do that, is to look after each other in different ways. And that's why I'm going to go into this plant medicine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Carrie,
Very cool.
Speaking of plant medicine, I'm going to send you a link to a fella in Hawaii that works a lot with ferns, and ferns hold probably 1,500 emotions.
Oh,
And they
interesting.
their ferns are extremely powerful, and he's very connected, and he makes a lot of tinctures with ferns.
Wow,
I'll
thank you
send
so much.
Interesting.
I'll send,
Yeah.
I love that link too.
Yeah, ferns are extremely, extremely powerful. They've been around since the origin, since we started. So
Cool.
this game here, so I'll send that along.
Awesome. And, since we're talking about on creating consciously, everything that appears in the world happens as a result of an interaction. And so the question you might ask yourself around whatever the particular set of symptoms that you're dealing with, for you specifically as you're speaking about, Carrie, but for any of us that have any kind of symptoms, what did I interact with? What did I engage in? What did I literally, when you think of a creative process, there's a seed that becomes fertilized and grows into a result. What did I intercourse with, quite literally, in order to produce this result? This particular set of frequencies or symptoms, and then ask the breath to show you what it is that you need to do to undo that creative process, to forgive that creative process that's produced whatever this set of frequencies are in physiology that someone looks at and says, well, here are your symptoms, here's what we've got. So that inquiry you might find in your next breath session, just going in with that inquiry and ask to be shown. Like, I'm ready to look at this.
Yeah.
Whatever it looks like, wherever it might have been 10 generations ago, it might have been when I was 10 minutes, out of the womb, but wherever it was, I'm willing to look, Ruka. Show me.
Yeah.
And then show me how to undo it. Show me what I need to do to transmute it. So the part of the process of creating consciously is consciously uncreating or forgiving what doesn't belong.
That is really resonated with me in a deep sense, because I have not done that so far, not asked to be shown.
Yeah. And just be receptive to,
Yeah.
and allow your intuition to really float free and allow it to come in whatever form it comes. It may not be, a set of words. It may be an image. It may be a color. It may be a shape. Allow your intuition to bring it to you whatever ways possible. And then, of course, you know how to breathe into that and interpret it. And, most people, when you realize there's the process of creation, and then there's what we call the created world. And most people are trying to change what's happening in the created world. It's like trying to change the picture on the wall that's already painted, and to change an effect rather than, oh, I need to touch into what the cause of this is. I need to embrace the cause of this, learn to transmute it. And when I do, the effect of it will disappear as well.
It's tapping into that field energetically with a different resonance than the field currently is emanating, I think, is kind of how I see it energetically.
Mm-hmm. Sounds right on to me.
Mm.
So we hold the space for your guidance to just show it to you, and then for your guidance to also show you exactly what you need to do to undo it, to free yourself of whatever that frequency is.
Thank
Whatever
you.
tools necessary. We'll be holding the space for it. And willing to accept some of the side benefits as you open it up, that it opens a space for each and every one of us who's holding the space for you.
Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we're a couple minutes after. Anyone else have another thought for us before we close out for today? Well, then I'm going to just say have an awesome weekend and the best year yet of your eternal life. Blessings. Take care. Bye-bye.